Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Edward Vaughan. I'm from the CAD Center. In this session, I will be looking at using your email with Hotmail or Outlook. So if you have a Hotmail account or Outlook account, I'm going to ask you to please log in, and I'm going to show you as much features as are needed on a basic level. So when you log in, please pay careful attention. I'm also going to ask you to take some notes, because again, if you don't take notes, you will not remember. So the first thing I'm going to show you is how to create a folder. Well, this part is quite simple. You just press on new folder right here, and then you give it a name. So I'll call this email unit, and then I press away, and that's my folder. Now at the moment, my folder is empty. If I want to move a file into that folder, one way is I can click on my message and go to move to and select email units. So now that file will be located in my email units folder. So that's how you move files into a folder. The next thing I would like to show you is how to do an auto response. So for example, if you're not at your office and someone sends you an email and they email you, they would receive an email saying that, sorry, you're out of office, and you will get back to them when you can. So to do that, to do your auto response, you need to go to your settings and choose options, and then you choose sending automated holiday replies. So I'm pressing on that line, sending automated holiday replies. Here you can choose to activate your auto response by choosing send holiday replies to people who email me. You can type whatever you like. So you can say, sorry, I am not in the office at the moment. I will get back to you as soon as I can. And you can choose to only reply to your contacts or not by activating the button. That's optional. After this, you must make sure you save your settings. So now you choose save to get your auto response activated. The next thing I'm going to show you is rules. So I'm going to choose, so now I'm still in options, and I'm going to choose rules for sorting new messages. So I press once, and here I can set a new rule. So I can say when I won't say a learners, but when an email message is sent with the words test, and I can tell them to please move this to my folder called email unit. So this is saying if I receive any email messages that have the subject heading test, please move all of those messages to my folder called email units. And then to complete the rule, you must choose, or you must select create rule. Good. So now if I get any email messages that have the subject line test, it would move those files into the folder email. So this gives you an idea of how to create a rule. Alright, again, your rules depend on what you're doing, so you have to be the one to really specify why and how you would use your rules. Okay, but I have given you an idea. Please make notes of where it's located. It's always located in the options section, and you choose rules. Right? And you choose rules for sorting new messages. Another thing that is quite important is email forwarding. Now here you can give the user the option to forward their messages to another email address. So you could just type in another email address here, and then this address, and then you would receive an email from your user at this address. Now this is useful if one of your email addresses isn't working or functioning properly. Then you may need to do this to have access to your messages. And if you press save, that setting would be done. Okay, let me have a look at other things we could look at. Okay, I'm going back to my inbox. Now, I think another thing we could look at is, right, so if we look at this option here, we can choose to reply to this message, or if we had more than one message, we could send the same message to many people by choosing reply all. Again, please make sure if you reply to a message, or if you reply to more than one messages, you must make sure you tick this box. Yeah, I think those are really the basic things you should know for your email. Again, if you're even creating a group, you can do it the same way. You can just create a new folder and then give your folder a name that is specific to the group you want. So let's say I wanted a group called Painters. I would just create my folder there and call it Painters. And I could even create a rule saying maybe any subject line that has the word job or task could go into the folder Painters. This is just an example, just giving you a few ideas here. So I think that would be the basics of using Outlook. It has many features for you to play around with. If I was to send an attachment to someone, I could just make my new email here. So let's say I was sending my email to Jane Long. yahoo.com, right, at yahoo.com. And I could say in my message, "Hi Jane, please find attached my completed documents. Regards, Ed." And my subject line, please always remember when you send a message to have a subject line. If you don't send the subject line, the person you're sending your message to will not, the receiver will not know what the subject is about. So it's very important to make sure you have a subject line in your email messages. Now, to attach my file, I would go to Insert, Files as Attachments. So it's Insert, and I press on Files as Attachments, and this opens up my folder. And just for example, I could choose that one there, and you can see that my file has been attached. And now if I press send, my message along with my attachments would go to the user janelong@yahoo.com, right? So this is how you send an attachment. Sometimes your files might be a bit big. If your file is big, then you should be using a file compression software or program. This is a software that is used to make your files smaller, and the smaller they are, the easier they are to be sent over the internet. All right. Examples of file compression software. There's WinZip and WinRAR. So if I just do a search for WinZip, just give you an idea. There's version 19 of WinZip, so you can just download WinZip onto your computer, and that is how you would compress your larger documents. All right. Again, the purpose of this session is not to show you how to use WinZip, but just to give you an idea of how to use your email with Hotmail. All right. So I hope this video was helpful, and I will see you soon. Oh, but before I leave, you can also edit your messages to make it look more creative. So if I was to highlight these words, "Hi Jane," and I could make it bold like that. I could even highlight my message and change a few things here. So there, oh no, that doesn't look good. I'll change that. So there I changed the background. So I'll just highlight that and change it to something, change it to light blue. That might help. There we are. So again, we can change all of these things. The best way to understand how to use your email application is to hover over. So use your cursor to hover over for you to see what each function does. So I'm hovering over my B, it says bold. I italize. The U will give me an underline. The A can change my font, so I can even make a few of my words bigger, just to demonstrate to you. There we are. If I had a bulletin point, so if I was to say the document, again This is not a standard email. I'm just giving you an example. I'm showing you as much things as I can to let you understand how the tools work. Okay. Let's say the documents attached are, and then if I had my colon, you could say test file answer sheets. Now if I was to highlight these two words, test file and answer sheets, and I pressed on my bullet points, you see that I now have two nicely formatted bullet points. Again, you can play around with these options to know how they work. You could even put a little happy face. There we are. Again, if you were sending a formal email, obviously you would not do this. But again, I'm just demonstrating to you some things that you could do informally. But if you were being formal, you wouldn't do the happy face, of course. But I'm just showing you some features that you could play around with in your spare time. Right, so I think I've shown you enough. So in your spare time, you can practice. You can work on getting some more experience in using your email. But the main thing is, if you're able to create your folder, if you're able to do your auto response, create your rules, then you are definitely on your way to mastering unit 208, which is using email. My name is Edward Vaughan, and I'm from the CAD Center. Thank you and goodbye.